If you've been scrolling through endless lists of pallet jacks, hand trucks, and those clunky little lifts that promise to make warehouse chores easier, you know the feeling of standing in the middle of the aisle wondering which one actually lives up to the hype. You've probably measured your load, checked the height you need, and still aren't sure whether the next purchase will be a time saver or just another piece of metal that gathers dust. That's exactly the spot this review is trying to clear up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Wesco Industrial Products 26001 steel frame two-wheeled hydraulic pedalift is positioned as a workhorse for anyone who needs to lift heavy items up to 750 pounds, about 40 inches off the ground. At first glance, it looks like a straightforward piece of equipment. A sturdy steel frame, two small wheels with ball bearings, and a foot-operated hydraulic pump. What matters more than the specs, though, is how it behaves when you actually need to move a bulky appliance, a stack of pallets, or a hefty motor in a cramped shop. Let's talk about the everyday scenario most people face. Imagine you're a small business owner running a bike repair shop, and a customer drops off a 600-pound electric scooter that needs a battery replacement. You could wrestle it onto a low table, but the frame sits low and you end up bending over, risking back strain. With the Wesco Pedalift, you roll the unit up to the scooter, place the platform under the bike's rear wheel, and press down with your foot. The hydraulic system lifts the scooter smoothly to a comfortable working height, letting you get under it without a back-breaking lean. The foot release lever then lowers it gently once you're done. That sequence position, lift, work, lower happens in seconds and with minimal effort. Now, who will actually benefit from this kind of operation? First, the product shines for small to medium workshops, garage bays, and inventory rooms where loads frequently hover around the 500 to 750 pound range. It's also a solid pick for hobbyists who move heavy equipment like woodworking tables or metalworking presses but don't have a full-size forklift. The foot-operated hydraulic pump is intuitive. You don't need to learn a complex lever system, and you can keep both hands free for guiding the load. If you're someone who regularly lifts heavy boxes, pallets, or industrial parts and you have a bit of floor space to store a two-wheel unit, this pedalift is a genuine time saver. On the flip side, there are clear reasons to walk away. If you run a large distribution center with pallets that regularly exceed 2,000 pounds, a 750-pound capacity is simply not enough. The 40-inch lift height is useful for most workbench applications, but it won't get you over standard 48-inch shelving without a supplemental step. The wheels are only 8 inches in diameter, which makes the unit highly maneuverable in tight aisles, but it also means it can struggle over rough concrete or uneven flooring. In a warehouse with cracked floors or thick carpet, you'll notice the wheels digging in or wobbling, and you might need to lay down a temporary mat to keep the lift stable. A practical strength that often gets overlooked is the front nose plate that actually touches the floor. When you lower the platform, the nose plate slides forward just enough to cradle the load, reducing the chance of the item tipping backward. In my own test with a 700-pound motor, the front plate gave a reassuring click as it settled, and the load stayed perfectly level even when I nudged the lift a little. That small design choice can be the difference between a smooth lift and a precarious wobble that makes you second-guess the whole process. Precision ball bearings in the wheels are another subtle advantage. They keep the rolling resistance low so you can push the unit with just one hand, even when the platform is fully loaded. In a cramped workshop, that means you can roll the lift under a machine without having to enlist a second person to help. However, the small wheel size does limit how fast you can move the unit across longer distances. If you need to transport a heavy load from one side of a big shop to the other, you'll end up moving at a snail's pace, which might not be ideal for high-throughput environments. The hydraulic pump itself is foot-operated, which eliminates the need for batteries or electric motors that can die mid-lift. The pump feels solid, and each full press raises the platform about an inch, giving you fine control over the height. That level of control is handy when you're aligning a heavy component with a precise fixture. The downside? Because the lift is manual, you need to keep pressing the foot pedal for a full 40-inch raise, which can become tiring if you're doing multiple lifts back-to-back. For occasional use, that's no problem, but a shop that lifts dozens of loads per day might find the manual effort a bottleneck. Durability is where Wesco seems to have put some thought. The frame is welded steel, and the platform has a textured surface that resists slipping.